Well, it's good. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. We're out here again. We're doing this thing. We're trying something new.
Yes.
The Intellectual Podcast once again. How you feeling today? How's it going?
I'm feeling pretty good. Actually, that's such a lie. You know what? Let me be honest with the audience today.
And with me too. Hello.
I was already honest
true,
with you. You were already privy to this information. I was talking
Very
to.
true.
I came in today, and I am just feeling so tired and a little burnt out with life. But we are here, and once I get here and I'm relaxed, I'm ready to go. I'm always very excited to record with you, Jem. So
here we are.
I'm excited to be here, but your girl is tired.
I felt that. I feel that. I woke up this morning hella exhausted too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Mercury's in like Gatorade or something like that. I don't know what's going on in the stars, but
something in the stars.
Yeah, I do know that something was up, and I woke up mad exhausted for no reason.
Oh my god!
But you sleep all day.
Yeah.
You just stay off the online stuff for a while, and
sometimes
you're good.
You just need that. Just all the blinds shut. You're ready to just
exactly head in a pillow,
mode.
Screaming.
Yeah.
And when that doesn't.
Wait. See, this is what I'm like saying. Yeah. I'm agreeing. I'm like, wait, hold
don't
on a
even
second.
hear what I'm saying, ma'am.
Definitely did not register that.
I'm gonna start testing that. I'm just gonna start saying some crazy shit.
Stop.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh no,
that will break that habit so quickly.
Oh no! And now I'm afraid. Now I'm gonna be hyper aware of it.
There you go.
At least this time around.
That's all it took.
Who knows about next
there
time
you
I see
go.
him. Oh my gosh. Okay, but so there's something I wanted to talk to you about.
All right, what's going on?
I wonder if you've seen this show, because I feel like it's a show that you would actually enjoy, or maybe you would hate because you always feel like you're therapizing your life and like psychoanalyzing shit. So it's one of those things that you would either really love or really hate. I find with this show that I like love it in like little bursts. I can't do too much of it.
What's the show?
Oh, yes. I'm like going on.
Yeah, the show. So what is the show?
Couples Therapy on Hulu, or I guess it's like Showtime. It's like the Showtime like add-on. And like they just released a season 2 of it. It's basically a real life like couples therapy. Like it's the doctor. Her name is Dr. Orna. She does couples therapy, and they just like record it. It's like a show, so it's real life couples.
Like therapy session.
Yeah.
Televised.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
Yeah, really interesting. Yeah, very cool. And like seeing like all the couples and all the things that they're talking about honestly makes me really afraid for like married life. Just like the things well, just because like the things that these people are, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's like absolutely insane.
No, that's true.
Like
that's
seeing
true.
couples like and like coming from someone who's in a relationship, I'm like, is that how we're gonna be 20 years down the line?
Exactly. It's a what do you call those things that the witches have?
A cauldron?
No, the orb.
Oh,
the soothsayer type stuff. You know what I'm talking about? I forget what those things are called.
Yeah, the little glowy orb. It's like purple.
It's a vision. It's a vision of the future.
Yeah. Oh no, that's so amazing.
Exactly. It's the future. I can
see.
Yo.
No, I don't want to
see. I don't want that at all. Please. Oh no.
I'm watching this for preventative measures.
And that's what it should be.
Yeah, 100%.
But hey, you know what they say? If you try too hard to avoid something, you're gonna fall right.
Exactly.
In it.
Yep, you're gonna be right head first into that. So bad. But there's
just kidding. I'm not wishing that on your relationship. Good God. All jokes, please.
Please. I'm afraid.
Oh man.
No, but there is like this one couple of like I haven't watched the new season. I've just been watching it like through TikToks, but I do want to watch it. Where they're talking about, or there's just one couple in particular that's like all over the internet right now, because the man of this couple is just like the worst human ever. So like the video that's like going viral at the moment, they're a married couple. They've been married for I think they're in like the 15-year age. I'm not totally sure. Like I said, I only saw this on TikTok. They have done like their relationship has been like their sex life has been very like non-traditional. They've had threesomes with people. Like they very much are into exactly
love that.
Doing fun stuff. He has stepped out of the relationship, of the marriage on his own time, several times with other women without her knowing. And she's like, you cheated on me. Like, like you've been cheating on me. And he's like, no, I've never stepped out on you. And the clip, I wish I could like verbatim say what it was, but like, he was like, I've never stepped out on you, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, I feel like he's gaslighting me. And he's like, no, I'm not gaslighting you. Have I, oh my God, what did he say? He's like, have I like entertained other women? Or like, have I been with other people? Yes, but I'm not.
So everybody, wait, what?
What?
That's what we're talking about right now?
Exactly. It was just the wildest thing. Like, oh my God.
Watching a man gaslight somebody in real time.
With like a camera in his face.
Damn.
I guess I don't really know how it works, like with like the studio setup, if they like are like the camera is super obvious.
Sure.
Yeah. Like how obvious the camera is. It's very good quality. And I think it does like shift and move.
There's probably some people behind that.
Yeah. So I'm just like in front of a camera, like you literally, this is being recorded like live.
Yeah, that's crazy. Also too, it's funny to me because that reminds me of how people are just like on The Bachelor, like those type of reality shows. Like you're saying, like you're contradicting yourself in real time. Like we didn't literally just see what happened.
Right.
The last scene over. Like what's happening? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And that just goes to show how natural it is for some people. Like, oh my.
Yeah, no, it really brings out the crazy. Really brings out the crazy. But I thought that was pretty privy to our topic of conversation today.
How so? Connect it. Bring it back.
We're bringing it back. Why get into a relationship? As the topic of conversation for this episode, which I think will be really fun because we'll kind of explore together the healthy and unhealthy reasons that people get into relationships. And kind of go down that thought process, even the more like gray areas that kind of can exist in that. And it's just like interesting to see in the show Couples Therapy, these couples who have been together for years and years and years and kind of, seeing the evolution, them talk about the evolution of like their relationships. And even then still having to ask the question 15 years later.
Why did we do this?
Why are we in this?
Whoa.
Right. Isn't that wild?
It's wild that happens 15 years down the line.
Yeah.
It's also too wild how like it can still be a question. The same questions that you have at the beginning are the same question that you have 20 years, which is why it's better to figure this out beforehand.
Totally.
And I feel like in that there are like two main unhealthy reasons that people commonly get into relationships and three overarching reasons why I think we both agree that people should be in relationships.
Yeah.
So
100%.
very, very interesting. Sad to the people that are still struggling with that. My heart goes out to them.
Yes. Well, yeah.
But you did it to yourself.
You did it to yourself. Yes. I think it can also be like an interpretation on the other end of like when people say you choose love, like, love is a choice.
Sure.
Like, the butterflies go away, the excitement, the fireworks sparks, kind of go away as you're with a person after year. And once it gets to that point, or because of that, loving someone and choosing your partner is ultimately like a choice that you make every day in your relationship for as long as you're
100%.
with them,
I agree 100%. Yeah. But at the same time, at the same damn time,
right?
Like, come on now. Yeah. Come on now. There's an upper limit to what you should be choosing for yourself.
Oh, totally.
There's
100%.
an upper limit. It's like, love is a choice, and you have to like everyone's gonna have problems, and this that like. Homeboy is over here cheating on you and then gaslighting you to your face. You don't have to choose that. That's crazy.
Don't choose that love.
Yeah,
don't choose that love.
That's something that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
That feels very self-destructive.
No, this is very fair.
To the overarching agreement that love and relationships are.
Right, exactly. He's no longer, or that person is no longer operating in the relationship in what was agreed upon. Which is really, really tough. But do we want to get into some of like the more
sure.
Like
hit him with a unhealthy thing. What do you got?
All right, the first part that we want to discuss about unhealthy reasons that someone might want to get into a relationship, kind of the overarching buzzwords that we're going to use here.
Topic sentences.
Everyone, hear ye. Comfort and convenience.
Comfort and convenience.
Yes.
Huge.
It's a big one.
Huge. I do love comfort.
Yeah.
And I do. I actually was thinking about this the other day. Like, my entire life revolves around those ideas.
Mm-hmm.
What makes me comfortable and convenience. Like, I'll pay for convenience over any other thing. Something costs $1,000. Well, does it make my life more convenient?
Yeah.
Shit, I do it.
Run it up.
Literally. Yikes. Can't afford that lifestyle, but I'll do it anyways.
Yes,
God, that's crazy.
You can't afford it. Wait, hold up. That's a whole
Irrelevant.
other issue.
Irrelevant.
Impulse control. Come on now.
Something I do not have for whatever reason.
Yes.
But what do you think is in that? What does that consist of, comfort and convenience, in terms of relationships?
Well, I think for a lot of people, you can kind of, the idea of like sliding into a relationship is kind of a big thing. So like for men, a lot of it is consistent sex, like that being one aspect where someone's just like, I've heard this from fellow peers who are of the male sex.
Well, yeah, it's quiet.
Where they've told me, like, I've had friends or whatever who have, been with this girl, having sex with this girl for a consistent amount of time, for a month, 2 months, and like she wants a relationship and I want to continue fucking, so we're gonna continue having sex and I'll be in this relationship for that reason. I think also too, even like being in relationships, like people like then like sliding into like moving in together. It's like, oh, I want comfort of like having someone always be there. And that's something I think women do often as well. Yeah. Where like
avoiding loneliness.
Exactly.
A little bit, yeah.
Exactly. What do you think?
It's hard out here in these streets.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard out here in these streets. What they say? 1 out of every 3 men over the age of like what is it? I think it was 30 or maybe 23.
Yeah.
I know that's a big range, but haven't had sex in the last year. And when you combine that with sex being the only space and the only arena that men can really have that physical intimacy, they're not really looked at as much, they're not really smiled at as much, they're not really comforted.
Yeah.
They don't get hugs. Poor things. Aww. I know, right? It kind of sad. Like once you look at that aspect of it and combine it with, finally you have a person that's giving you the only thing you can receive this type of affection in. Yeah. Why would you want to give that up?
Right.
Ever.
100%. I think that I think there will be a common theme with all of the unhealthy reasons someone gets into a relationship, that and with comfort and convenience, you are tunnel vision focused on this one thing essentially, and all the other aspects of like the reasons maybe you shouldn't be in that relationship are kind of put to the wayside, or are not a priority, or you're choosing to ignore because you're so focused on getting this one thing.
This one thing that you feel like you can't get anywhere else.
Exactly.
It feels good to have in the moment.
Oh, and then, so good.
Yes, amazing, right? Oh man, amazing. Anyway, that's a separate issue. We can talk about
that
later.
Before,
hey, again, a separate issue. We can talk about that
later.
We've
all done this before. If we're being honest.
Yeah, actually, if we're being completely honest. It happens. To the budding relationship individual, like as you're learning the intricacies of interpersonal dynamics, you will find yourself in a situation like this.
Yes, 100%.
And to that point too, I was, the common saying, or men specifically know what a girl's going to be in their life, like in the first 2 weeks of dating them. Or interacting with them, meeting them or whatever. Okay. Like, I meet this girl, I'm hanging out with her for 2 weeks, I know where this is going. Yeah. Type shit. Right. I don't necessarily agree with that, and I'll elaborate on that in a second. But when you have that and you kind of compartmentalize those moments to get what you want, because this is a thing that, one, you can't really get anywhere else, and it's a thing that society says that is necessary to have. Yeah. You find yourself going with the flow, trying to maintain this comfort that you're getting from this person, and you're missing that there's an actual person. Yeah. This isn't like you're flipping on the computer and you're finding the site that gives you the most attractive situation. Yeah. is a human being.
Right.
A whole ass soul.
Whole ass, yeah, whole ass
like
human.
with feelings and desires and an interpretation of reality that's so much, man, doesn't have to be so much different than yours, but that's completely different than yours.
Right.
And as you were basically using this person for whatever it is, you're robbing both of yourselves from what you would want this situation to be.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It's
man.
It's scary. And then even like, I guess a lot of like women can feel like a lot of fear that is like what if like you being with just like you talking about humanizing the person that you're with and like that just being a big fear. I think that people will have of like, especially I know with women, with the men that they're dating, of like, oh, well, are they like really like with me because they want to be with me? And like, and he's over here just like, hey, well, as long as I can hit it 3 times a week, like, we'll do what we got to do. But that's just like, I don't know. It's just like not a relationship that like, I just have never understood why people want to put themselves in those sort of situations. Like, because how like ultimately fulfilling can that be? Because then you're with a partner who you're not meeting their needs in any sort of way, because you're in this relationship for selfish reasons, for a very like I said, tunnel vision, very single reason why you're in this relationship, and you're ultimately more miserable than when you started. Right?
Yeah, in a lot of ways that's true, but I don't think people go into them expecting for it to develop in that way.
Totally.
Right? Because especially with hookup culture in the modern era, you don't really have enough time to think about where something's going before you entrap yourselves in physicality and the dopamine and the pleasures that is experiencing that with another person.
Yeah.
And it's only when the one night stand becomes the 3 months and
she's still here?
You know, exactly, she's still here. And they said, I saw this quote from a Tinder ad, right? And flawlessly done. They said, when one night stand becomes 2 nightstands. I was like, that's so good.
Yeah.
Like 2 nightstands and like now you're living with each other. But this was never.
That is a good ad.
Right? It's I was like, wow, this is crazy.
I had to just like marinate.
The one night stand.
Run it back.
2 nightstands.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was saying, it's like, dude.
That goes hard.
They were in their bag with that one. That one was crazy. I was like, for sure. I kind of want that. Hold on.
Right.
But,
wait, oh, Jem. One day.
One day more.
Breaks out into a musical.
Hey, yo. Man, I completely lost all these jokes. All these damn jokes. No.
I apologize.
When the one night stand becomes 2 nightstands, becomes a 3-month situationship, and you fall within the flow of what these interactions always become. Like, you can't really interact with people in the romantic, sexual, erotic space without following the template, right?
Okay.
It's like, this person, you and this person, you're going to want to spend more time together. You're not going to be fucking all the time. And that becomes going out to get dinner. You want to eat some food, which becomes going out like on pseudo dates, but no one really calls them dates, but you're fucking this person, so it's like pretty much a date.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
Which becomes opening up to this person, pillow talk, emotional vulnerability.
Yes.
And now you're following the template. You are in this situation that feels very much like a whole relationship that you chose to be in, that you sought out because you were interested in this person, you wanted to get to know them, you wanted to connect with them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ever that.
Yeah.
And until you acknowledge what that is and see the person that's in front of you, it'll never be that. Like you were saying, it's robbing the person and making you both miserable in the process.
Yeah.
It's like, I was just trying to like have the experience. Like, I was drunk in that party and I was having a lot of fun and it was cool.
Yeah.
And now I have to deal with the consequences of my actions, basically the behaviors that I chose to participate in.
And usually in those situations, like one would argue that like there is an aspect of that person that you do enjoy. That's why you
100%.
just kind of happen. You find yourself
Yeah.
3 months later still seeing them.
And time flies when you're having fun. Hey, yo.
Sorry, you wanted me to say that at the same time as you.
It's okay.
Fun, ready, fun.
Hey, yeah. No, it's okay. Moving on. We missed it.
But yeah, like you there's an aspect of that person or there's something about the person that you do like generally enjoy. And to another point, in another way, you're humanizing them, which is why you can't find yourself like getting out of that situation or like removing yourself from like just like the comfort of existing there, even though you know it's not the relationship for you or the person for you or even where you want to be. Maybe you this whole time you just actually really wanted to be single. And it's because you've had that pillow talk and then you've emotionally vulnerability and opened up and you kind of confuse with that what that is and being that's a whole other thing, but being vulnerable with like the wrong people and wrongfully like connecting and on
then
that,
attaching yourself
exactly.
to like, I said all this, it has to mean something.
Right.
Oh no.
100%. We've cried together.
Yeah.
We've shed
You're talking to me
tears.
about your father and your mom who was never close enough to you, please.
Exactly. Don't even get me started.
There you go.
So you in some other sense, like, are you both humanizing and not humanizing this person? I'm not exactly sure, but in another way, I think it's like the human element that kind of keeps a person potentially from leaving that situation.
And like you said, there's a part of you that really enjoys this person.
Yeah.
And in that enjoyment, it's really hard not to see a human being behind that. But like I was saying, if it's not for the right reasons,
Right.
you're not seeing the actual human that's there. You're seeing the human that you want that person to be.
Right.
And it never ends well.
Yeah.
Because until you see the person for who they are and not who you want them to be, you're never going to move past what that situation is for, like in a meaningful way, basically, which will always, in my observation, end things.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to end it because you enjoy and you care about them and you like what you're doing, whatever.
Yeah.
But until you acknowledge what this is and want to move past and like have the structure that everyone hates, like I don't need labels and all that stuff.
It's horrible. No one.
Labels are like I get what people are saying when they say that, but labels are also necessary because it helps people clarify situations and guides people in a direction that they're supposed to go.
It's good to know like where you're at so you know how to act.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And if you don't do that, then it will end and you guys will both be hurt in the process.
Yeah.
And it'll just be a lot of drama. You have trauma from situations that you don't need trauma from. Like, why are you mourning a 3-month situationship for 2 years?
One might argue those hurt more than those 5-year relationships.
They hurt more because you're trying to find meaning in something that was relatively meaningless.
Totally.
You're like deluding yourself in this whole experience, trying to make it more than what it was.
Yeah.
And I mean, the mind's a very powerful thing. And what you think your reality is what your reality is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you like are forcing yourself to break apart because you can't acknowledge that it was never worth it from the beginning, you know?
Yeah. No, that's very true. It exists in a fantasy world, essentially, at the end of the day.
Which, to that point...
Yeah, speaking of deluding yourself.
Right? You immediately go into the next thing that we find to be very problematic, very unhealthy reasons that people find themselves forced into interactions, situationships, relationships. And that's escaping reality, deluding yourself, living in a fantasy, using that as a reason to avoid the necessary growth and personal work that you're supposed to be doing.
Right. Think Disney princess. Think rom-com.
Hopeless romantic situations. Yeah.
Right. And look, this is one that I completely relate to. I am a certified. I have a diploma on my wall.
Bachelor's in.
A bachelor's in hoplic. Not smooth at all. Clearly, that's not what.
A bachelor's in what? She didn't study shit.
Apparently, I need to go back and study English.
Yeah, over here being a hopeless romantic.
Right.
Go back to school.
So focused on being a relationship. Get an education, girl. So bad.
Man. Anyways.
But I am certified in being a hopeless romantic. And it's something, so I 100% relate to it. And I think a lot of the mindset, at least this is the mindset that I had when I was kind of in this phase of my life and in dating, was I was just like, I want to give all of my love. I don't want to feel I don't want to feel like there's any like barriers to that. I don't want to feel restricted. I just want to be able to give my love when I feel the love that I want to give.
Yeah.
And
which I'd argue is a very like universal feeling that a lot of people have. I feel like that a lot.
Right. It's a really nice sentiment, and it would be great if you would not get hurt by doing such a thing. But there is a huge necessity for boundaries, and that's something that you obviously do have to learn. And I think that's kind of part of it, of, you're trying to like escape. Like, I just want to I want to exist in this fairy tale world where I can give my love and my love will be given back to me, all that good stuff. But it's just simply not the case of what ends up happening, right?
Yeah. And people want to use romance as a reason to exist in that fantasy because they're not satisfied with the reality that they find themselves in.
Right.
So, for example, they say a lot of people find themselves hooking up with people in these situations when a tragic event or significant event happens in their lives. You don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
You default into not wanting to experience the full brunt of the emotional spectrum that situation forces you to feel.
Yeah.
So what better way than to lose yourself in another person?
Yeah, 100%. Or even kind of a slight step further, this phenomenon, I don't know if it's a phenomenon, but that I've noticed with people who are even in relationships, and some would argue those relationships, they're in those as hopeless romantics. But I've encountered people who they have had their parents recently pass away and kind of shortly after having this huge desire to have children and really romanticizing that because they have had a loss of their own parental figure. So now they're trying to fill that role as the parental figure to another child. It's that's not the way to bring a child into the world.
Yeah, priorities. I understand you're grieving.
Exactly.
Your priorities are a little questionable.
But I think too, when you phrase it that way, I think one could see then okay, you shouldn't even enter into a relationship under that same premise, right?
Or even less aggressive. You just broke up with your childhood sweetheart type of thing, and what's the first thing you do? Find yourself immediately.
Yeah.
Those chronic serial daters, right?
Me.
Hey, I wasn't going to say it. That's crazy.
One thing about me is I'm self-aware.
We love to see it.
A self-aware queen.
We love to see it slay with your self-awareness. Exactly. Oh my goodness. But yeah, serial dating is true. A direct result of people that don't want to deal with their reality. And
100%. They're jumping from relationship to relationship. How can you know yourself when you're just in relationships back to back to back?
Short answer, you can't.
No.
It's impossible. And true, because those type of people, like you were saying before, they're so open in their minds. They portray themselves as these open, ready, willing individuals.
They look like great people to be in relationships with.
Exactly. But what they're doing is assimilation. They are becoming what they need to be in every situation under the guise of loving you so much. I'm willing to be what you need me to be. It's no, you're becoming what you need yourself to be.
Yeah.
And again, like we were saying with the last type of people that do it for comfort and convenience, this could arguably be a comfort because you're being comfortable, feeling what you want to feel, experiencing what you want to experience, and still not approaching the relationship for the individual, the person that's on the other side of that,
Totally.
because it feels better for you to exist in your own mind and in your own space with the situations and the context that you feel like you have a hold in. Like you can easily control the type of people or the type of love that you think you're giving a person.
Yeah.
And every fight that you have with that person is, well, like, I'm doing X, Y, Z. I'm doing this, that, and the other. Like, why isn't that enough?
Right. Right.
It was never for the person you were doing that for in the first place.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
It's crazy. I don't know. Like, I'm sure it is, but that is just something when I think about being in a relationship with a person like that, I'm sure I've dated on my own end too. I have dated people where I'm just like, you do not like have any like ability to like introspect, right? Or you have like an unwillingness to. It's like,
Sure.
do you really know yourself in the way that you should? And the moment that you kind of clock that, at least like for me, I'm like, that's talk about an ick.
Oh,
You know,
whoa. Immediately undesirable for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Like,
That's fair.
Because like, who wants someone? I think it might be different for like a woman doing that for a man in like a heterosexual context, but I think that for like for a woman, for a man to be like, I will be what you want me to be, I will do what you want me to do. Like it almost feels. Like they're it's a strong word, but it feels like they're emasculating themselves almost. Like, I can't like respect you because like, get up off your knees, sir.
Sure,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Which is funny because last episode you were talking about someone on their knees begging with a boombox in the sky.
Look, balance.
For sure.
I don't know what I want.
No further comments. No further comments at this time. Hey, yeah.
But there's like, it's different. It's different. I so promise. It is so different. It is like one thing to like make a declarance of love for someone.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Versus like a consistent like willingness to forget yourself for the other. And like that, once I recognize that you are willing to completely put yourself to the wayside for me consistently, that feels like, who am I with? Like that's not foundationally, like you're not foundationally strong.
Yeah, where's
within
your
yourself.
spine, sir?
Exactly.
That's
Where's that
crazy.
backbone, right?
Not there.
Not there.
Not there. Like,
but he has to have a strong backbone to lift that stereo. So.
Yo, every time he got back muscles but no spine. Are you kidding me? Hey, yo. Nah, but that's real. That's too real.
Yeah.
I do also find that it's very easy for people who operate in that way to persist in these very annoyingly toxic, habituated cycles.
Totally.
Right? Learned behavior, like even as far back as your parents. But you're acting out these situations in every interaction that you have. You're looking for something very specific. Because after a while, like moving forward, like past your 22s, 24s, 25s, up into the later 20s, most people become a little more self-aware. They're operating under a different perspective.
Sure,
it's a lot harder for those type of people to remain that same way. Like you can't connect to people if you're like that, if they are self-aware and trying to move into a more self-actualized space, because they're going to be calling you out on your shit all the time.
Yeah.
And a person who doesn't want to deal with their shit isn't going to answer those questions, isn't going to operate in those situations in an effective manner.
Yeah.
What that does is force you to find the same type of people that exist similar to you or that are able to receive the type of attention that you want to give them.
As in, you're saying this when you're entering into your later 20s.
Or just like when you start interacting with people that are more aware and self-actualized.
Gotcha.
It starts becoming, if you don't evolve yourself, you're going to find people that are at the same level as you.
Yeah.
And that becomes a very toxic situation, which you're breaking up for the same reasons that you got together.
Right.
And it just keeps cycling over and over and over because you refuse to see the pattern, to do the work, to understand what's going on and becoming a relatively better person.
Right. 100%. because relationships are a great tool for like growing as an individual. And so to your point, to not then see that, to not see that cycle and then just continue in relationships with people who are the same, like you're all together just kind of frozen in time. And that is very depressing to see. Very depressing.
For two people, us specifically, who like are defining factors as forward progression. Yeah. No matter what the speed that looks like, we're not going to do the same thing we did last year. Right. So to conceptualize a situation where I'm just like not moving forward stresses me out. Yeah. A lot.
No, 100%.
Like I'm sweating thinking about it. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Like, scary. Whoa.
And even just like, just thinking about the like, the dude who is hopping from like relationship to relationship, never like catching a breath. You just like we were saying, you just can't ever like, you're just never like growing as a human. I completely lost my train of thought. Think on that man.
Think on that man. That's all I'll say about it right now. Come on.
I do think, because in talking about like these relationships and like healthy reasons why you get in, which we'll get into, healthy reasons why you should get into a relationship or ones get into a relationship, but all the unhealthy reasons. I think the common theme, or a common theme in the unhealthy reasons why people get into relationships is not seeing and not doing the work while you are single in order to be ready for a relationship. It's not just kind of you're like floating and existing as a single human, just like, you know, what is it? Frozen in time. What is that thing that they do in space? In like cryo or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? In like all the sci-fi movies. It's irrelevant. But
I'm like really trying to think of what you're talking about. Like and I know like it's at the
like
tip
in
of my
Interstellar
tongue.
when they like when they're traveling like light.
Sleep?
Yeah, I think it's cryo sleep. I think that's what it is.
Yikes.
Yeah. So you're not just like in a cryo sleep stage when you're single, just kind of existing and then all of a sudden you're perfect. Person here. Yeah, exactly. Perfect or ready to go, ready for a relationship. I wish it was like that, honestly. Like a little Barbie doll like coming out of the package.
Hey man. Why can't it be like that? Tell me.
No, honestly, if it was,
I think we'd be a lot happier.
I think I would agree.
Bella Porch is talking, build a bitch, please. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Are you kidding me? I'll take one from there, the arm from that one, the brain of that one. Oh hell horrible. Yeah! Hey, yeah, I love that.
Oh my god,
it'd be so easy. I wouldn't have to work on myself. Just be perfect for me out of the box.
That's literally going against the very thing we were saying.
Oh yeah, I'm aware. I'm also acknowledging that it would be easier. Nice. Like I can't fantasize. I do the work, okay? I do the fucking work. Let me have my fantasy. Hey yo.
I'm dead. Oh my gosh.
Only half joking.
That. I can't with you. Oh my gosh. That unhinged.
I love myself sometimes. It's so funny.
But yeah, there's like the theme of like, okay, like the hopeless romantic. Like what are they not doing that's making them being a hope? Because I still consider myself a hopeless romantic. I don't let myself let up on that. Like I didn't strip that identity from me because I've grown as a human and I'm like more mature and I'm like, I'm not hopeless romantic anymore. I still am.
So what does that look like with the growth that you have had over the years?
Well, I think the aspect of it that is important is what these hopeless romantics are lacking, or the people who just like kind of slide into these relationships and yada, yada, yada. They're seeking comfort. They're not doing the work that needs to be done on themselves when they are like in these states of singleness, and two, like really truly allowing themselves to be alone and like look in that mirror, look at yourself.
Yeah.
No one else behind you. It's just you.
Hopefully. Hopefully there's no one else there.
If there is, call 911.
Yeah. Call the exorcist. Be safe out there. That's so crazy. No one else behind you.
Oh my god,
Fingers crossed.
That one really got me. Oh my god, I'm crying.
Very good, very nice. I love this really
for you. Oh my god. And this is not to say I think maybe even a misconception, and as we talk about these concepts that may be like misinterpreted, is that you have to be like, well, we always say this word, like fully actualized, self-actualized human being in order to enter in a relationship. But I think what is required is self-awareness. Sure. And self-awareness in just where you are at in that point in time, in that moment in space. Where are you at? And even because I would argue I've always been a very self-aware person to my detriment.
Yeah.
Damn, that yep was a little too.
Yep. I hear you. Continue.
Like, damn. Anyways, okay. I didn't judge you. Even in those times where I was interacting in like in unhealthy like situationships and dating around and just doing a bunch of wild stuff, I was always very self-aware about like where my mental state was at, where I was physically at, like in my time of life. Was I in this transitional period from college to like adult career life, et cetera, et cetera. And just being very honest with myself, because I think that, self-awareness is like radical honesty with yourself, Yeah. And I think once you are okay with doing that, then you're leaps and bounds from where you need to be, more so than you may be aware that you are.
Yeah, no. And that radical honesty is so hard to get to, especially for the people that we're talking about in these specific situations. If I were to articulate the difference between like hopeless romance is not the problem.
Yeah.
I feel like if I were to qualify what a hopeless romantic is, it's just a person who like idealizes the process of love, right? Yeah. And getting into that and experiencing the fullness of love in like its complete capacity, right? Yeah. That's a pretty useful definition. Hopeless romantics take that to the utmost extreme in a sense that they're using it as a crutch to support their own either low perception of themselves, the reality of their situation that they don't find ideal, they don't want to be in, or there was one more thing in my brain. No, I forget what my other 2 points. Damn it! All right, go ahead.
I'm so
You're
sorry.
fine. No, that was just me.
Well, you were talking about just like a person who takes hopeless romance to the utmost
extreme.
Extreme.
English,
I have a bachelor's degree. I promise I'm educated. I'm an educated woman. And a part of that being is like a low perception of self. I think that is an aspect of like the hopeless romantic that people don't really take into account. Because I feel like I, at one point, in that pursuit of like all of like the dream love that you see in the movies, all that kind of stuff, in that pursuit of that, when I would not receive that from the men that I was dating and pursuing, I used that as like confirmation of like unworthiness as well. Because essentially like a hopeless romantic who's not actualized, well, I guess we're just going to use that word.
Drink every time we say actualized.
Right, exactly. I'm just, oh God, I need to think of another word.
It's the word that accurately describes
it fully encompasses it.
I'm gonna look right now to see what other words. No, I know what it is. I just want to see if like the thesaurus is gonna help us out.
Right.
But continue with that. You're good.
Okay. So yeah, it's like a hopeless romantic who's like not fully actualized. It's coming from this foundation of, I think, a lot of insecurity, where you're kind of wanting the picture perfect thing, but also kind of struggling with the fact that you are not the picture perfect thing, right? And then that can kind of devolve and spiral down into like self-hate, for lack of better words, right?
Because you're not fitting your own ideal
Right,
of
exactly.
what this whole romantic situation. Like, if you can't get the attention that you want from the people that you want the attention from,
Right.
then you're not fitting the
Then
ideal either.
You're worth
You're
nothing.
worthless. Damn.
It's tough word, but yeah, that's how you feel, right? Yeah, I think that's like just something that's like not always like touched on when we and talking about that topic. Did you find a thesaurus word for actualized?
Substinate.
I don't even know. I've never even heard that used in a sentence.
Actualize is the best word.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Moving right the fuck along.
So we were right, basically.
No, yeah. But what was I saying? I was saying they don't want to make sense of anything outside of what that fantasy is, right? I think the good thing about where you were in your hopeless romance, even when you were younger and doing all the stuff that you were doing, was you had a conceptualization of what things were outside of your little quote unquote bubble of hopeless romanticism.
Looks like we're both struggling with English today, aren't we?
Well, you're rubbing off on me. That's what I'm going
That's
off
what's happening.
Yeah, yikes. You had your perception of your romance was grounded in a realistic ideal, right? So it's like, I know where I am right now, the self-awareness. Yeah. And I know what I would need to be to achieve the love that I want. Right. Not I'm trying to emulate a type of romance that I saw on Bridgerton. Yeah. On that one movie that they're doing, the boombox thing. What? There's a movie. What movie is that?
It's an old movie, like an 80s.
It's the one with oh, it might be Back to the Future, the 80s one. But they did that. I think they did that on 10 Things I Hate About You, no?
I think they did.
What's that guy's name? Heath Ledger?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's from there.
I don't think that was the original, but I think they also do it in that movie.
Yeah. So they're trying to emulate an experience because, man, I'll tell you this. Media is so good at creating a sentiment of what you think you want to experience, right? These actors are so good at being immersed in the emotion of the situation. Again, I was just watching Bridgerton the other day, the Queen stuff. When Queen she was Charlotte. When she was like, spoilers, skip ahead a couple of minutes spoilers. If you don't want to hear this, but man, that was crazy when they were in the observatory and she stormed in right after this. Right,
my heart calls.
I was like,
cry.
I will leave right now and I'll be happy. We can have as many children as you need, as you want. You just have to tell me you don't love me. And he's like, get the fuck out, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? I was like,
it was so intense.
It hit. It was intense and it was beautiful and it was crazy. And they punctuated it with the under the bed scene with the old she never stopped loving him, even though she's like this pretentious queen.
Literally in tears.
I was like, man, I was on the verge.
On the verge.
I was on the verge. You know, as a man, why are you crying?
Anyways.
Yeah, right, exactly. But no, I was definitely like right there. I was like, this is crazy. And I thought to myself, like, this is just stirring the pot. Because now people are going to want this.
Right. Then I'm looking over
at breathe when I'm not with you. I can't breathe when I'm not with you.
Like, why isn't my boyfriend telling me that?
Exactly.
Matthew?
My point, exactly. I'm just like, no, they're really good at showcasing and expressing a certain
and making it seem as if it's like this is 100% realistic and totally like okay to ask to demand of your like relationship with your partner.
When you're in that, a person who doesn't want to deal with reality, who is watching a situation in media that is so beautiful, and they want that for themselves, they're going to try to recreate that in their lives. You get a situation that's just doomed to fail. Yeah. You get a situation that is going to end up breaking you apart because you, or not you, not the person specifically, but the situation isn't a situation that's taking into account all the other factors.
Right.
Like love is just not emotion.
Yeah.
Love isn't just a intense experience of passionate interaction. It's so much more when you have to deal with a person just came home from work and they're having a long, hard day. And you want them to be immersed in you.
Right.
You want them to envelop you.
Right.
You want to be enveloped by their total, all-encompassing, unrealistic, deluding love.
Yeah.
You're going to be disillusioned really quickly. And instead of taking that disillusion with, oh, what I think is incorrect, you're going to project out onto the world and think that either one, you're not enough, like you were saying, or two, you just haven't found the right person. And your ideal human being is out there.
Yeah.
It's just not you. Fuck you.
Fuck
I'm moving
you.
on.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah. And then that ends up being like you end up, and this is something that I 100% fall privy to, is like trying to control these narratives and try and like set the scene so that these things can happen. And oftentimes those moments with your partner that are like these like crazy like moments of like connectiveness and all that kind of stuff never happen when you think they do not happen on your anniversary. They don't happen on the birthdays. They happen on a random Thursday night.
After the gym.
Yeah. And for some reason, y'all are just feeling one another. And it's like in that moment.
And it's magnetic and it's electric and it's beautiful. And
completely unplanned.
Yeah, it's not premeditated.
Exactly.
That was crazy. How did that happen? What were we doing? Like, whoa.
Right.
Like, on a Tuesday? Right. Are you on a Taco Tuesday? Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Like, that's actually insane. And I will say that it is possible to fabricate situations.
Yeah.
But you just have to suspend your disbelief. But in that suspension, your suspension of disbelief has to be motivated by reality.
Yeah.
You just can't not believe shit.
Yeah.
Like if you just don't believe reality, then
there's
no suspension. Everything will be fake. Everything will be forced. Nothing will be what you want.
Right.
And you're just going to be there gripping so aggressively at an idea that you want to happen that will never be.
You're unable to like do the thing that you need to do in order to get the thing.
And just like The Great Gatsby, the green light, motherfucker. Always the unattainable thing, man. See, we did go to school. Yeah. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Great Gatsby. I read that. AP literature, by the way.
I'm just saying. So yeah, just like The Great Gatsby and the green light.
Yeah.
That became his motivation for existing. So he had no inclination of any other way to persist in life.
Yeah.
And he created the entire situation from the new money parties to being the most talked about individual to all the illegal stuff he was doing up until the point where it eventually ended his life.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, what an interesting interpretation of that book. Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened.
It's like so applicable. Yeah.
That's totally what happened. Like he all his energy, all his motivation was trying to fulfill this fantasy, trying to exist in a way that was consistent with the life that he wanted. Right. And it was his downfall, essentially.
Yeah, literally.
So, if that is your motivation, if that is your reason for living, then you have no motivation to discover anything else because you're so entrapped in making what you want a reality. Which, that's not what they meant by manifesting.
Yeah, no.
That's not what they meant, not at all.
You can't be so all-consumed and obsessed. It's very different, for sure. For sure.
Which is interesting, because there's always two sides to the be delusional situation. Be delusional in what you want for yourself, not what you want from others. Right?
Yes. I'm gonna try and segue this.
Sure.
Hopeless, like romantic people like lost in this fantasy. I think there's like, there's kind of like this even what we were talking about with like rom-coms and like Disney princesses, like all of like this like social context and like input and whatnot that you're getting from society, from the world about like what a relationship should look like and what it should be.
100%.
And that being also kind of, we label this as more of like a neutral reason, and we can go into that of social pressures being a reason why someone may enter into a relationship. That being from family, which is very common. I want grandbabies. Pass on the lineage. I don't know what those people say.
Fulfill the prerogative, the biological prerogative of human existence.
Exactly.
Shit, I'll give you your grandbabies.
What?
You want grandbabies? Oh, I'll give you your grandbabies.
Right. If you said it back to them exactly in that voice, I'm sure they would back off real quick.
I just gave you guys. That's a what do you call those things? That's a pro tip right there.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You want to stop your families from talking about where their grandkids are?
Yeah.
Tell them, all right, say less. I'm about to give you some.
Right now, let's go.
Wait, what's your family? What's your family? Ma'am, what? Let's go right now.
The let's go is to your partner. You're invisible.
Right. But you're talking to your parents like that? Who raised you? Sweet home Alabama head ass. I'll give you some grandkids. Yo! What?
I cannot.
I think you've had enough of that. Hey yo.
I'm literally, oh my God.
Let's go right now. Oh God.
Oh my God.
Out here talking reckless. That's crazy.
Dude, this is what I mean by I will just say things sometimes and I don't know what I mean until after the fact. I really need to get better.
We know what that meant. Yikes. Oof.
Oh my gosh. But anyways.
There is a lot of social pressure.
A lot of social pressure. Also from like friends, a lot of people like, oh, all of my friends are in relationships, so now I should be in one. I know that a lot of girls, like a lot of girls do that in my experience. It's like one or the other. Either like a group of girlfriends, if like one girl is in a relationship, everyone's pressuring her to not be in that relationship.
Come on, just break up with him. He doesn't treat you that good anyway.
Exactly. Hot girl summer. Come on. Or it's like the opposite. Everyone else is in relationships. I know,
dude, like,
worst.
I feel so bad for the guy that's in a group like that. Like, again, pro tip, pay attention to the friends that your girlfriend is having. Not to be like hella controlling, but if they're just all single, there's a narrative that's being whispered into her ear.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with you. You mess up one time and she tells them, that's it.
She's like, end it.
Yeah,
like, end it now.
It's like, shit, I would. And then they're over here robbing you of your potential happiness.
Yeah, damn.
Because they're miserable and alone.
Right. Stop.
It's like, leave me alone. He's fine. But
fine.
No, that social pressure is really hard to avoid.
Yeah,
it
100%.
takes a lot of understanding the dynamic and not being hella emotional. Making decisions in the moment to protect yourself from that. When your 6 best friends who like you feel care about you more than anything,
right? Know them for years, know them longer than this person. Like,
what is 3 months to 5 years? We went to college together.
Right.
You helped me when I was throwing up. My mom died, and you helped me. Right? Like this is a homie.
Or even just like in the opposite context as well. Like even something I saw my older sister kind of go through a little bit, but kind of when women are entering into their like older 20s typically, and like wanting like, oh, biological clock, I want to start like looking for something more serious and yada, 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 and finding themselves in situations where all of their friends are in like relationships and have been with these people for a long time. And you're sitting at your friend's like second friend who got married, you're sitting at their wedding and you're still single. And like that also just playing like such a havoc on your brain of just like, why am I still, I want to be in a relationship so badly. If everyone else around me is so happy, why can't I find my person, et cetera, et cetera.
And you start rushing things that don't need to be rushed.
Exactly. 100%. 100%.
I think it's neutral because it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, because doing things because, like I said, like we were saying before, the structure of things helps guide people into a mode of operation.
Yeah.
Right. It makes things easier because you have a set of rules, a set of structures that allows you to know what you should be expecting.
Right.
But
why traditions exist.
But at the same time, in a modern context where relationships and human interaction in general is nothing like it was.
Totally.
When the people that are telling us that they want grandbabies are telling us how to do things like these. You haven't been single for 30 plus years.
Right. You lived in a very different context where you could afford a mortgage with $30K a year.
Exactly. Exactly. $30K. Man, take me back, please.
Right.
But then,
Lord, take me back.
But then I wouldn't have my Instagram, so.
Yeah, right.
Can't have that. Interact with people face to face, reading newspapers and books. Oh, fuck that.
No, thank you. Anyways, give me my phone. I want my phone.
Hey, yo. Freaking iPad children. But no, they don't have the modern context. At least they don't have a firm grasp on the modern context as a person that's actually in the trenches, dealing with that every day, right?
Totally.
So
it really does feel like the trenches.
If you stick too aggressively to those modern traditions and situations like that, you'll find that they don't really apply. Yeah, a lot of the things that made sense in the dating sphere, the relationship sphere, don't really hold up at the beginning of most relationships right now. So if you're just trying, like you said, you got married, I want to get married. Yeah. Let me just find this, that, and the other. It's like, no, that's not how you go about it now. Right. You have to take a step back and like realize your motivations for wanting this thing. Like, is it because I just came from a wedding? Yeah. And I'm feeling a little lonely, comfort and convenience all over again. Right. Or is this me like looking at the happy and the beautiful interaction that my family has, and I want to find that for myself. And I met a person that seems to align with those expectations that I have for the future. Yeah, because it's okay to want that serious relationship. Yeah, 100%. It's okay to be like, I don't want to date for anything but a serious relationship at this point in my life. I want the American dream. I want the white picket fence and the family with the husband and the kids and the wife and all that stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But if that is your motivation, it becomes, why are you with this person? Are you with this person for this being with this person, or are you married to the idea of what this connection means to society? And a lot of people find themselves, like you're saying, couples therapy, the reason why they're still asking those same questions, it's not the same questions. We're asking those same questions. Right. They weren't asking it back then. No. They were trying to fulfill a template of what should have been done. This is how your life's supposed to look like. I get married at 23. I have 2 kids. Like the rigmarole of life. Yeah. You kind of just go with this rigmarole. Flow. Oh. I literally can't win. I just can't win today. The rigmarole of life. Rigmarole. I like my way better. The rigmarole. Who's Rick? Who's Rick? No, that's funny because like on Rick and Morty, he does put Rick in a bunch of stuff like that. So he would have said like rigmarole. Thank you. I'll take that. Whatever works, right? Hey, right. No, with the whole rigmarole of life, and it becomes you assigning value to yourself based on your ability to meet certain external requirements. Yeah. And if you do that, if you define your self-worth on what society is telling you are, you'll never, shall I say it? Say it. Yes, hot take, go. This is not a hot take. This is me repeating the words we've been saying. Oh, yes. You'll never really be able to do the work that is required to self-actualize. Yes. Now everyone take a shot. To self-actualize, bam. Yes. One day we will do that on this podcast. Yeah. That would be funny. That will be funny. But it is funny though, in like that idea of, because I don't know the actual statistics of it, but in the idea of like we're talking about social pressures and like traditions and how those things can be like what we just talked about, a negative, put you in a space that is not the best mindset for you to be in order to actually find like a fulfilling relationship. Isn't there like a statistic somewhere that
arranged marriages have like a super high rate of like success and like
No, yeah.
divorce. And
like
granted,
70%, 60 to 70% of all
It's
arranged
crazy.
marriages last versus 50%.
yeah. And like, who's to say like that number? Okay, so 60, 70%, which is also that's just like insane, because America, we're at like 40 something percent, like our
I think
divorce
it's like
rate.
46 to 48.
Yeah.
I don't look at those statistics like ever.
Yeah, every so often it comes across my Twitter. Honestly, is where
Clearly,
I find it.
I don't want to be married anyways. Moving on.
Anyways, and who's to say like a number like equates to a healthy relationship, right? That all these those arranged marriages are healthy, fulfilling relationships. But it is interesting that, you know, people who are like participating in arranged marriages, which is a tradition that has lasted the test of time with humanity, that those marriages are much more successful than those who are kind of operating on a more like modern context, right? Of like engaging in relationships.
Which goes to the positive side of tradition, right? Arranged marriages are people that are in charge of you, your parents, coming together and assessing you as an individual, and finding a person that matches with you.
Yeah.
I don't trust my parents to do that for me.
I was gonna say, not me neither. They didn't take the time to get to know me as a child.
That part, 100%. Wow. There's a moment of silence for that,
Damn,
like
all right.
heaviness.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man.
Oof. Anyways, but yeah.
So they don't have a firm understanding of who I am as a person.
Right.
But that's not to say that their understanding of what I would need and their understanding of what I could enjoy is wrong, because they raised me for 18 years and I had a pretty good life for the most part. So that being said, if me as a 15-year-old and my parents, as however old they were when I was 15, they are talking to another parent who has another 15-year-old. It's like, my son is this, that, and the other. I see he has this. They like know your weaknesses way more than you do at that age, right?
Right, 100%.
If they gave them to you, but it's okay. Yeah. That's neither here nor there.
Oh my God. Neither here. Anyways, moving on.
So they know, they're very familiar with them.
Right, they're very trust me, we know.
And then vice versa. In that discussion between adults, you can guide the youth in a direction that is much more significant than you trying to figure that out on yourself and making mistakes on the way. Because what you do, whereas your parents are like judging your weaknesses and your strengths in relation to what another person is, because they have the adult context to do that.
Yeah.
You're judging it based on what you want and what you think you desire, based on whatever media you've been seeing. Hopeless romance, especially as a high schooler, 18-year-old, whatever.
Oh, 100%.
And you are defaulting to a person that makes you feel a certain way, not even having the ability to assess whether or not they would make a good partner, a good husband, and why should you be able to do that as a child, basically.
Right. And also too, like in those arranged marriages, they're looking within their community, within people of families of a similar culture, and
which is a huge factor.
Right. Like having an understanding with your partner of like ways that you grew up, and just an understanding of like lifestyle, et cetera, et cetera.
Experience. Are you
shared
kidding
experience,
me?
sometimes shared faith,
Wow,
right? Like all these things are automatic because you grew up in the same sorts of communities, right? And so one who would have like that struggle of being with someone who like, you don't understand me, I come from this background, you don't get it. That's just you typically just kind of not even a thing, right? In those situations.
And then two, on top of that, you have the same socioeconomic background, probably. Same faith, same religion, like you're saying, same values. Like all those are the things that people argue about. Those are the things that break marriages.
Right.
So all of that just taken care of.
Right
And
out the
you
gate.
just really have to worry about whether or not you're into this person.
Right.
And that's such
And
an
learning
easy
to love
thing
them.
to do. Wait. Take that back. It's a natural thing to do.
I like that better. Yeah, you're
It's
right.
a natural thing to do when you're living with a person. When you're married to a person, unless they're a witch.
Yeah.
Replace the W with a B.
Yeah, damn. Okay. But very true. Unless they're like an absolute just
Horrible
like,
individual.
yeah,
Then
horrible human.
For the most part, you are you'll enjoy them.
Yeah.
Because you have all these things aligned already. You just have to build experiences and memories together.
Yeah.
That's a point for tradition if I ever said so myself.
1 point to tradition.
Are you okay?
Let me put down this glass of wine.
Sir? Ma'am? What is going on?
I do not know why that came out of my mouth like that. I don't know what's going on.
She's tired, y'all. It's fine.
I am very
This
tired.
is exhaustion.
I did preface at the beginning of this episode, so everyone knows.
And you have been utilizing that this entire time. Good for you. Good for you, girl.
Thank you. We're doing the harder thing with like American society, it being like a melting pot. There's no like tradition. Well, we do have tradition.
The tradition is
racism.
okay. Yeah, well, that's not what we're talking about right here. Yeah, our tradition is slavery, the subjugation of black people. Anyways,
yeah,
that's
literally.
not what we're talking about right now. Our traditions are the traditions of other cultures.
Yeah.
So
And
even
kind of a
among
conglomeration of that.
yeah, even among black people, it's like us. Our traditions are very different.
Yeah.
Where we come from, me being a first gen,
Totally.
you being here for a variety of years.
Yeah.
We have a shared experience, but not the same experience.
Yeah, 100%.
Which
I think more so with like American society, it's like if there was anything to kind of have like shared cultural experience, it's socioeconomic, essentially.
yikes.
Yeah, it's like, were you poor too? Yeah,
Yeah, we were fine.
same.
And there's too, like, especially when you talk about the way we grew up, especially in California, right?
Yeah.
We all have the same like childhood, like the same shows we watch, the same
Yeah.
experience that we had. Like, oh, you drank from the garden hose too? Me too. Yeah. And of course, like if you are upper middle class, you probably weren't doing that.
Yeah.
Your mom made you lemonade or some shit. Like that. Fuck you.
Well, I was out there slaving away doing lemonade stands trying to make money for my family.
I was making the lemonade.
I was making the
Hey,
lemonade.
yo, that's crazy.
Well, I actually did a Kool-Aid stand. I was a little bit cooler.
It's very African American of you.
Look, I was trying to just switch it up a little bit.
No,
One
you
time
sure
with one
did.
time.
You sure did. Props to you. You switch it all the way. Go up.
Not the era.
She said, switch it up. Yeah, you did.
Oh my gosh, I did.
But they love that Kool-Aid too. The
Oh,
black
yeah.
people in your community.
They ate that shit up. I mean, the community I grew up in was very diverse, so you know,
Right.
it was all kinds of people stopping by.
But you, the African American,
The African-American,
Kool-Aid.
yeah.
Fuck off. That's just crazy.
Oh gosh, really funny. Was there more that you wanted to say on kind of like the neutral and like neutrally unhealthy or healthily neutral topics?
I don't know if I said this already, but I wrote that the true dangers, right, since we were talking about the good stuff about traditional things, the dangers of it become when you do things motivated by external factors. You don't take the time to question why you're with a person. Like you were saying,
Yeah, no,
the couples therapy, they're asking those questions. Why did I get married? Why are we still in this? I say they weren't asking it back then.
yeah,
Right? And if you're not asking those questions, you don't take a step back to inquire on those reasons why you're with a person.
right. Yeah, you're not like understanding like what external factors are motivating you. And it's fine that external, like you can't avoid external factors motivating you in some regard,
course, yeah.
right? It's just having that awareness of those things. So like in the context of family, traditions, friends, et cetera, understanding that that's affecting your state of mind or state of being about getting into a relationship or whatever.
Absolutely.
You know?
And then having the wherewithal to ask the necessary questions before diving head first
Yeah.
into a situation that the dangers of tradition follow the structure. You know how to operate.
Yeah.
You know how to be the perfect wife.
Yeah.
You know how to be the perfect husband. You're taught what to desire. You're taught what this is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And even if it's not perfect, it can be good enough to delude you into not having to think about who you are in this situation, why you're here in this situation, and what the situation means to you before you have kids.
Yeah.
And you get married so young, like in your early 20s, late 20s, early 30s.
Totally.
you've been a mom for 18 years and now you're finally discovering like, who have I been for the last 20 something years?
Totally.
And that's where you get people in those situations. Why are you gaslighting your wife of 20, 15 years? Like, that's kind of insane to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane. Like, you as the wife, you couldn't see this before you got married to this man over the course of 15 years.
The red flags were there. You just weren't sworn.
You're over here trying to be progressive the entire
like,
time.
Oh, but we can have fun. I want to be the cool. I'm not saying that she was trying to be the cool wife or cool girlfriend.
But she was totally trying to be the cool wife and the cool girlfriend.
We can have threesomes together.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be controlling. You can do what you want. I like it. No.
Yeah.
And now you're over here stressed out because he's cheating on you. Who suggested it? Was it her? Was it him?
Yeah. That is a question I
Maybe you just didn't want to
have.
be that one girl that complains about that because society told you that those girls are annoying.
Right. Or the benefit of the doubt for her, like that could have been something that she desired in a relationship. She could be someone who considers herself a very sexual person and enjoys doing very like non-traditional things, but still to the point of like you can still be that and like
ask the necessary questions.
Right. Exactly. Like clearly define like what that is and also really see the person that's in front of you. Understand the sorts of people that you're going to be interacting with because you desire this sort of life. Yeah. Because you're going to get people who are going to want to take advantage of that. Advantage of the person who's like, let's have a threesome. Take advantage of the bisexual girl.
I was just about to say that. I was like, yeah, like the people that do bi. Oh yeah, like I love that you're bi. That means like I can have like threesome. Like you like girls too.
Yeah. It's like no, that's not what that means. Actually,
it means that you could have been a girl.
Right.
We could have had this if you were a girl.
It means I would not have cared whether you had a penis or a vagina.
Exactly. That's what it means. Like I still like monogamy. I still like this. Like no, you cannot. I will not be making out with girls in front of you. Weirdo.
Yeah.
Poured for that, you psycho.
Weirdo. Throws drink in their face.
Oh my God, you're bi. Oh my God. Come on.
Oh my gosh, horrible.
People are crazy.
Yeah, they are crazy. Oh my gosh.
But no, yeah. So, while it's a beautiful thing and it's a necessary thing, it has to be met with a certain distance.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we're moving in a very forward, progressing world.
Yeah.
It's really hard to just think about those old situations that used to happen so naturally.
Yeah.
Arranged marriages, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Meeting a person in a small town, existing in that space without giving the proper weight to the way that modern society has progressed beyond that.
Right.
And if you can find that's a beautiful thing. There's a lot of people, I was listening to a lot of podcasts this week that were talking about the naturalness of meeting someone in person, how beautiful that is, and how it feels like a movie and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, 100%. If you can find that, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. But
if you don't find that, but you're trying to force that, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And that oscillating situation is in my opinion, the issue.
Yeah.
With traditions because they're so invasive.
They're so invasive. Forced.
That you don't almost always realize that they're there, so you don't even know what to question because we're 100% a byproduct of the environment that we grew up.
Yeah.
And over here, you're spewing all this stuff, you're expecting all this stuff, only to find out years later, like, that's not even what I wanted.
Right.
Whoa, like that's kind of crazy.
That's like, well, not even what I wanted. Wild. Insane.
And too many people, in my opinion, end up in those situations.
Yeah.
But I do think the beauty of, podcasts like this and just understanding people are moving away from the traditional mindset, even with the narrative that you have between what men want, what women want, all that stuff. It's adjusting itself.
Yeah.
People are having necessary questions beforehand.
Right.
Because they want interaction that like edifies them and that beautifies their life and that is breaking away of, what do they call those, generational curses that people have and stuff like that. Most people don't want an interaction like their parents.
Yeah.
And for Gen X, 1990s, 90s babies and Gen Z, that is the narrative that's becoming.
Yeah.
The byproduct of that is that we're hella single.
Yeah, right. We're waiting until we're in our 30s to even get married in the first place.
The beauty of that is that more people are reaching healthy interactions where people are, where they're finding people that match them and that they're creating output that's greater than the sum of their parts.
It's more symbiotic.
Exactly, which I think is a perfect spot to start talking about what healthy relationships should look like.
Yes.
According to Jem Renee, what should...
Let's hit them with it.
for the one time. Hey, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Some of the reasons, I think we broke it down specifically into 3 reasons why someone should be in a relationship, or the healthy like mindsets that one would be in to want to enter into a relationship. One being exploring a life with another person / developing a meaningful connection and growing with that person.
Yeah, connections are important.
Yeah.
Connections are the only thing that matter, in my opinion, when it comes to interacting with a person. Because anybody can interact with a person. How many people do you interact with on a daily basis?
Too many.
Oh, whoa. Are you?
Well, I work in...
You want to talk about it?
I work in a customer service interaction.
So that's a little bit too much for you.
Yeah, that's a little too much. But yeah, no, I think even more than that, kind of what you were saying, what our generations are seeking more in relationships, and what I think is such a beautiful thing is like being with someone who elevates you, who makes you a better person, who you are growing as a human through this relationship and this interaction. This person, they can do the same for you. It's not just one-sided in that way.
Yeah.
You know,
and 2, you can't really explore and facilitate connections with people. With people who are in their hopeless romantic phase, that aren't doing the work. Like, you can't explore something from someone who isn't exploring those same things of themselves.
Yeah, right.
So if that's something you desire, and if that's a thing that we say is a hallmark of is a factor of a good relationship, then you're going to need to do X, Y, Z, those certain self-work, self-perceptions, kind of being single, being okay with being alone.
Yeah.
Hopefully no one's behind you in the mirror.
Right.
All that stuff. You know?
Right, call the police.
or the pastor, whatever.
Yes,
whatever
exactly.
comes first.
Whatever comes first. Exorcist.
Yeah, like whatever you need. Yeah, you can't deal with those things if a person's not dealing with themselves.
Yeah.
Because, and especially, this is a thing that I found, because I was a person that took the time to understand myself at a very early age, for better or for worse. Usually for worse, actually, I will say that. And a lot of the issues that I find with the people that I'm interacting with become me operating in the understanding that I have, and then fighting them because of it. So we're not like they say in the ideal world, it's the couple against the problem.
Totally.
Right. But if the problem is you not wanting to see the problem, then I'm just fighting you.
Right.
And that has been a feature of my interaction with people a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to help them, you see the problem, you understand, and you can communicate as effectively as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But until they're ready and willing to acknowledge the problem isn't with the perception of what they think the relationship is, and it's more of a like overarching theme that you both have to work on together. Yeah. And you're willing to help, right? But you can't do it on your own. Right. You'll never have the type of relationships that I think we idealize.
Yeah, totally. I think too, people like, to take it back a little bit, might be a little confused, but it's like, okay, I'm a person, I want to grow. Sure. So am I ready for a relationship? And like, that's not necessarily always the case, right? And I think too that depending on the time in your life, it changes why you should enter into a relationship. And I think kind of like the point, at least for me, what I hear when we make that initial point of like, you know, I want to be with someone because I want to explore life with them, et cetera, et cetera. That I think is, you know, to me, I want to be in a relationship because I want to be in a relationship with that person, right? There's not like this, and I think that applies more so for an older person, someone later 20s into 30s, et cetera, where they have come to a place where like I don't need necessarily another person, and I'm not actively seeking a relationship in the way that we talked about before in this more unhealthy context of like
trying to fulfill something.
I mean, you complete me. Like, no, I'm complete on my own.
Yeah, I'm
right?
chilling.
Right, exactly.
But I want to share my life. Take me for what I am.
Whitney Houston taking us to church.
Another color for you.
Oh,
you. I'm saying.
Beautiful, beautiful, Jem. Beautiful.
Oh, I love that song.
Oh my gosh.
I really need to.
Yeah, right, you're really about to. Yeah, hold up.
But don't let me close.
Interlude.
Oh man, I love that song.
It's such a good song. It's such a good song.
She is just such a good song.
Oh yeah, she's
a good song.
A song the universe gave to us. A beautiful angel. Anyways, but yeah, you know, you're no longer seeking a relationship to complete yourself in any way, and you're wanting to, like you said, just the desire to build a life with someone and finding someone who you meet and you're like, oh, this is something that I can really see in a meaningful way of growing with this person for a really long time. And not to say that a young person, even, you know, as like someone my age, 24 or younger or a little older.
Fresh out of college.
Exactly. It's not like saying you cannot be in a relationship until you're
Work
older.
on yourself.
Yeah.
But yes, but also not really.
Exactly. Because as we both know, like I am of the belief that like relationships can be really beneficial in those like formative years.
No, yeah, I agree.
Of college, of being in college, and I would argue my college relationships were a huge reason why I have a much better understanding of myself and what I want from a relationship, what I want from life in general. There were things that I was saying I wanted with these people that in hindsight, thank God I did not marry them.
Snaps to that.
Right, exactly.
Snaps to that, yikes.
I'm like, I was really saying I wanted things that I really did not want. But I don't know that I would have discovered those things in that same way or really at all, one could argue. Probably I would, just maybe a little later, if I didn't have those relationships with those people. And so using, as a younger person, a relationship as a tool for self-growth, that sounds kind of like bad and a little selfish, but as a tool for self-growth as well, and to discover what you want. You know, you can do that and still authentically exist in a relationship. I think in your like early to mid 20s.
Yeah, I don't think it's a binary.
Yeah,
I don't think it's one or the other. Especially we can just compare our dating lives, right?
Yeah.
You who went through the experience of person to person and formed these ideas for yourself, and me who took the time to observe and understand relationships on my own and explore those ideas by myself. And like, we still kind of reach the same goal when the goal is the same, right? To self-actualize again, and then
take a shot.
to self-actualize and to either explore things about ourselves and to explore things about other people.
Yeah. Right.
And that isn't to say that, and like the point of that exploration isn't to say that you can't be in a relationship until you meet a certain threshold, right?
Right.
It's to experience these things the way that you feel like you want to, the way that you feel like you should, so that you can start forming what questions you should be asking. And then form an interaction that is aligned with where you're at in life, one, and two, where you want your life to be.
Yeah.
And a quote that I love from one of my favorite relationship psychologists of all time, Esther Perel. Read her books. Beautiful. Mating in Captivity and The State of Affairs. I changed my life and my perception.
I should read these.
No, they're amazing. Like. They're amazing. I actually have the book. I'll let you
say, can I take one?
Yeah, 100%. Oh man, it's such a beautiful idea because she was saying that you can have all these iterations with different people and you can learn things from all those people, and it's a beautiful thing. Perfectly valid, perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You can also have the same iteration, or you can also have those different iterations with the same person.
Oh, yeah.
And that is kind of in line with what we were saying, in the sense of you had the different people and you were learning those things. But if two people were aligned and they were both motivated into learning and discovering, exploring that which they were supposed to within themselves and each other.
Yeah.
They get together when they're 18 and then they become 20, they learn something else. They don't break up.
Yeah.
They fight about it, but then they realize what they're fighting about, they move on, they grow.
Yeah.
And they have a new relationship between the ages of 20, 23, 25, and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
It flows in that capacity.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a beautiful sentiment. And to that point, it's fun to look back. Like, you can look back at yourself. I can look back at myself and be like, yeah, like that was crazy back then, but like it led me to where I am now.
Right.
But how beautiful it is to have that same situation with the person that you're still in a relationship with and being like, yeah, look where we were, and look where we got to. Like,
right.
I am not the person that we got into a relationship with. I'm not the person you married 15 years ago.
Totally.
And we're still like moving and growing and edifying each other.
And that's such a beautiful thing. Yeah.
And we're not asking those dumb questions like, why did I do this to myself?
Yeah.
My best years. My best
the
years.
best years of my life. You stole them from me, woman. My old ball and chain. Whoa.
My anchor.
Yeah, right.
Yo, no, I want you to be my wings, not my anchor. You kidding me?
Oh my God, I never heard that saying before. I like that.
I feel like I stole it from somewhere, but I don't know where.
Take it, steal it, run with it.
I might have just made that up right now. Yeah.
You know what? It's yours, Jem.
Yeah, I want you to be my wings, not my anchor.
Yeah. Big time.
I'm gonna tweet that right now.
Yeah. Real quick. Hold up.
Like, that's kind of crazy.
Oh my gosh.
And two, in the whole idea of the personal growth and being each other's wings, I honestly believe that it's really, really hard as relationships become the mirror of your interactions.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to become self-actualized on your own.
Yeah.
Like, you can, right?
Yeah.
Like we were saying, like, it's possible. There is a lot of self-work that you have to do alone in the mirror. Hopefully no one's behind you.
Right. I must
keep reiterating. Yeah, it's like no one's behind you.
I must stress
it's just
this
you
point.
And maybe your demons.
Yeah,
your inner demons. Right?
Right. This is what it really is.
But like that work is very necessary. But once you're past that, the best way to test where you're at is with the interaction of another person. Another quote from the late great. Actually, she's not late. She's still alive and well.
Damn, don't be saying that.
I know she's still alive and well and very great. And she said, what did she say about this? She said, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she was basically talking about this idea about how relationships, you discover who you are in relation to other people. That's what she said.
Oh, yeah.
She said, you discover who you are in relation to other people.
Totally.
You can't be what you're trying to be until you test it in interactions with other people.
Yeah.
And in that, the second reason why, or the second feature of a healthy relationship becomes your utilization of like yourself, personal growth, and utilizing that relationship to kind of like push you both to the next level.
Right. 100%. I agree with that. Like I said, I think I at the top of the episode, or maybe not the top, but middle top of the episode, of just kind of through all this, the underlying theme of it being self-awareness, and that no matter what stage of personal growth you are at, is something that you, as hard as it may be, to get past your ego, to get past your pride, and to look at yourself and be like, I am not a perfect human being, or I am not or I am not where I should be, and not taking that in a way of what we were talking about also, of just like the self-hate and like taking that and running with it in a really unhealthy spirally manner, but to take that and face that and be like, okay, like this is where we're working from, and to keep pushing forward.
Like that one meme that the guy's riding on the bus and like, oh, life is meaningless. And like, he's looking at the wall and he's all depressed. And like, life is meaningless. He's looking at the beautiful field and he's like super happy. Yeah.
100%. Exactly. It is okay. It is perfectly okay to be exactly where you are at. 100%. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment of that. It's the judgment.
Whoa. All right, here we go.
The judgment comes when you're unwilling to grow beyond that, or to face that and then to grow.
And even from a biological level, the number one feature of nature, the only constant that we have is what? Change.
Yeah.
So if you're not changing and you find yourself in the same patterns of behavior that you had when you were 5 years old, and nothing's changing for you, you're insulting the evolutionary progress that all living beings.
Not you saying Mother Nature is mad.
Nah, she's pissed.
You're insulting Mother Nature.
You are. The one prerogative you have for existing is improvement.
Yeah. Damn.
And you can't even do that? Why do you exist? Why do you exist? There's literally no point. If life is meaningless and you're not even improving.
Damn.
As a man.
As a man. Stop.
As a man, why aren't you improving?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I'm dead.
You can be dead, but I'm not wrong. You can be dead, but I'm not wrong.
Oh my god.
No, but being unself-aware is so difficult in the sense that in the long term, it puts you in a lot of situations that you could definitely avoid with a little self-introspection.
Totally.
No one wants to do that because it hurts and it's scary. And my demons attack me. And
right from the mirror.
Yeah. They're harassing me. We cannot let that joke die.
No,
which is
really,
fine.
really just leaning into that bitch.
Which is perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think at the end of the day, I think everything filters down to the final point. Right?
Yeah.
The best reason to be in a relationship with anyone that you choose to be in a relationship with.
Yes.
Is the person that you choose to be in a relationship with.
Yes.
And I know you, Renee, love that point.
I do.
That's your favorite.
So much.
That's your favorite thing to tell me all the time.
It is. Well, because look, a girl loves to be accepted.
Doesn't she?
I love some acceptance. No, but it's very true. Love is a choice, and you should be with that person because you choose them. Like what's more, that there's nothing more beautiful than that. There's nothing more romantic than that. Like it's so bleh and gross and like not fun when you're just like choosing anybody.
Yeah,
you don't
falling
really
into a situation.
Right.
I guess I'll deal with this person.
Right, exactly. Like, oh, they fulfill this need. This is fine. Blah, blah, blah. Like that is just the most unromantic thing ever. But choosing the person because you find them captivating, you find them to be just an enigma of a human being to you. They make you a better person. They make you want to be a better person. They motivate you. They support you. You support them. You motivate them, and
they inspire you.
Exactly. You see positive feedback because the universe will show you the negative or positive feedback when you are with a person.
Even bring it right back. It doesn't have to be the universe, because the situation will be very clear.
Yeah,
but your own personal physiology will tell you.
Your body will literally.
100%.
I saw this TikTok where this girl was saying, she was like on this point of like the relationship she was in that were really bad for her mentally, whatever.
Her UTIs and stuff. Yeah, I saw that.
Physically, yeah. Same For You page. But it physically manifested, you know, like you are physically ill like all the time.
Sick
like,
all the time.
Right. Like
heavy periods, UTIs, pregnancy scares.
Do you have consistent BV or vaginal? That must mean that you are in a bad relationship. Get out immediately.
I can't.
Symptoms may involve.
Literally. Literally, we do need a PSA just like that, because
we need to make like a pharmacy commercial.
No, I actually want to do that.
That'd actually be so fun.
That'd be actually for our TikTok. That actually would be really good.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that actually.
We should definitely. Are you in a? Symptoms may include. Yeah. No, we're definitely doing that. That's really freaking dope.
That's really funny. But yeah,
I think choosing is the most aggressively in line thing you can do.
Yeah.
With the romantic ideal.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying a lot of positive stuff. They inspire you. They're beautiful. Yeah. You love them. Yeah. But you also choose them because they're disgusting and they're annoying and they irritate you in the right way.
Yeah, very true.
They care about you enough to piss you off, and you're pissed off because you care about them. And it's a beautiful thing that you're choosing to deal with, because at the end of the day, no one brings out what that person is bringing out of you. Yeah. And no one can really make you feel the complex emotions that this person makes you feel. And love, 100% is a complex emotion. 100%. Which is why people suck at it.
Yeah. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. We can talk about love and the depths of that a little later. I don't want to approach that right now.
Another topic, but another time.
No, I think it's a very important thing to experience all the other stuff we were talking about. You can't grow with a person you don't choose. You can't explore a person you don't want to explore. Yeah. So you have to choose to be there. With all the warts and all the BS.
Warts?
Warts, yeah. Oh. Their chicken pox.
Oh, yes.
And their contagions and all the stuff that they do to give you the ick and whatnot.
Yes.
All that stuff, man. Very, very necessary. I haven't reached that point in my development. All that stuff pisses me off. Real talk.
Jem alone forever.
I would be okay with that. Not gonna lie.
Damn. You know, I'm not saying this is a bad way, but I could also see that happening.
Yeah.
And just like in very much like Jem fashion.
It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers the world.
Yeah.
People
AKA
see me.
Renee,
the world. Renee, the world. But no, it's like. And maybe that's a testament to the downsides of exploring yourself to the utmost. Like, again, I'm encroaching 30, and you did use 30 as the benchmark of that. It's like, I don't need another person. Yeah. I'm chilling. And I'm really trying hard not to fall into the bias of any little thing I don't want to deal with is me rejecting a person that could be really good for me. It's like, oh, you're not perfect. Goodbye. Right. Like, I don't need a person. Goodbye. I don't want to deal with this. Right. Like, do I being not like want? Yeah. Like, do I not want to deal with this, or am I being unrealistic?
Too comfortable in your independence. That's another topic though too.
It's a very hard thing to avoid. Yeah. Especially on the path of self-improvement. Yeah. They always say it's a lonely path. The more you start being comfortable with your solitude, the easier it is to just not want to deal with people.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have to deal with that. When you're whining again about this thing that is really big and meaningful to you, but I can't empathize with you because I'm too caught up in my own situation to even care about whatever you're thinking about, because I've been used to my perspective for so long.
Yeah.
That's not a good way to exist in life.
No.
So I pay attention to that, especially when I'm interacting with. Yeah, make sure that the things that annoy me about people are things that are 100% not aligned with where I'm going and what I want, and not just natural things that everyone goes through. It's like, oh, they're just having a bad day and it's like irritating me.
Yeah.
And I'm using that as a reason that they're not worth my attention.
Right. That's lame.
That is lame. And if Jem is anything, he's not lame.
He's not lame.
Not lame. It's true.
Oh my gosh. Well, all right, Jem. How are we feeling?
I think that about sums it up.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
I think we're doing great.
I like that. I like that a lot.
That was a fun conversation. I think it also opens up for us and for the audience for more.
You just stay hitting that.
I know.
Mic.
I have long limbs.
With no control over
I
them.
have such long limbs. But yeah, I think it was a good conversation. Like I said, like opens up for us to have and explore more ideas and along those things. I think we kind of said it like, oh, that's another topic. Another topic.
As we prepare for our 6-part series that's on the works right now.
Yes.
I'm very excited for that. I'm not going to tell you guys what that is yet, but
we are not saying a thing, but it is going to be fun. I think it'll be a fun time. 100%.
Fun and useful.
Yes.
Fun and useful.
Exactly. All right, Jem.
And in that, once again, I'm Jem.
And I'm Renee.
And we're
the Intellectuals.
Signing off. Until next
time.
Bye.